Welcome to Living Life with James, the podcast where real stories and real conversations help us to make sense of life. From personal journeys to expert advice, each episode gives you something useful, whether it's a new way to think about things, a helpful tip, or just a reminder that you're not in this alone. Let's keep growing, keep connecting, and keep living life together.
Today, I'm joined by Hannah Lorsch, who is a brilliant photographer here in Arizona, an absolutely amazing creative person who has been open recently about her weight loss journey and just the changes to body. So listen, I'm here because we don't talk enough about the psychological and the emotional aftermath and process of going through weight loss and body change. So I'm happy today to have Hannah Lorsch to be able to talk about this, how it affects identity, how it affects internal shifts, and just being able to normalize this, because I know so many people that are going through body changes and weight loss journeys right now. So please help me welcome Hannah.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so excited to
I've
talk
known
with you.
you for years, and
Yes.
the reason why I wanted you here, as I mentioned, is because your story and your journey has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I have been taken back, honestly, by seeing you online, and anybody that gets to experience your recent post, it's touching. You're vulnerable. I'm trying to be aware of my emotions as I share this, because it is that powerful to not only listen to you and your story, but to see your physical transformation.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know
you've seen me
I have seen you
through it all.
I've seen you through the years, and I get little clips of I get the big clip of the physical transformation, which is clear as many of us present ourselves to the world. But what not everybody's privy to is the emotional piece and the psychological piece, and what that does and how that takes a toll, right? And that affects you before and after.
Oh, absolutely.
So Hannah, I want to know, before we kind of talk about your weight loss journey, I want us to know a little bit about who you are now and how you show up now. Who is Hannah?
Yeah. So, for my occupation, as you know, I'm a full-time photographer, and I've done that for over a decade. I'm a sister, and I'm a daughter, I'm an aunt, and I'm a friend, but I'm also just a big feeler, and I feel a lot, and I'm trying to use my experiences and all my feelings to be a mentor or just helpful for other people. And
you have been through social media. I think that's what's clear. And that's why I was like, Hannah, I've known you for years, but we got to sit down and talk, because your story is so powerful. And I can see what you're doing right now, how that can resonate with so many people.
Thank you. I hope so.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
So someone just meeting you now for the first time, what would you want them to know? Bigger than, you're a sister, you've lost weight. What would you want them to know about Hannah at her core?
I think what I would want people to know is more of my story, honestly. I think that there's so much from my experiences that can be meaningful to other people. And I would want them to get to know me and get to know more of my story, in hopes that it would be helpful for them.
Well, let's get into it.
All right.
I know you have a full story. It's a big story. It's an emotional story. There's a lot of, when we talk about a highway, ups and downs, potholes, you've experienced a lot.
I think, if I can say something real quick, I think most people have. I think most people have big stories. I think they don't know how to share them, or they don't feel that they can share them. And I'm trying to also a little bit change the narrative on that. I think it's important for us to be more trusting of each other and share more, because there's so much less being alone in sharing. So I think we all have big stories, and I think that's
I think
else.
we're doing the same thing, and you just said it so eloquently and so beautifully. We all have a story. We all have a history. We all have a background, whether it's trauma related, whether it's full of, rainbows and unicorns. We all have such a story. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing Living Life with James, to be able to talk about what stories are, things that are inspiring other people, things that people can learn from. So let's get into your story. I appreciate you saying that. I want to hear a little bit about what got you to where you are. And we're going to weave in clearly the weight loss piece to that.
Yeah. What got me to where I am in which realm?
Let's start with maybe what was it? What was the point in time where something clicked for you, Hannah, and said, I need to make a change. Something has to be different from myself.
Okay. I think there's a couple parts to it.
Okay.
I would say there's an emotional aspect that led to me wanting to make a change with my appearance, which ended up kind of becoming internal at some point. But it was also, a physical need at a certain point. So the emotional standpoint, everything that impacted my decision I had a weight loss surgery in Mexico.
Okay.
I had a gastric sleeve surgery.
How long ago was that?
I think 3 years ago.
Okay.
I'm really bad with timelines.
That's okay.
ADHD.
Around 3 years ago,
Yeah.
You decided to go get the surgery.
Yeah. I had a friend who had done it. Same doctor, same place. And although everyone has their opinions on this, to me seems a little drastic, but I needed it to be foolproof. I'd tried losing weight so many times and failed so many times, which is a common rhetoric, I think, among so many people. And I needed it to be foolproof. And I had a bunch of impactful things happen all around the same time. I lost my father to Lewy body dementia. I ended an unhealthy relationship, and I also got really, really sick. So emotionally, losing my dad was someone who was very emotionally supportive of me and gave me a lot of borrowed self-esteem. He was my biggest fan. So losing him, I kind of had to find more of my worth within myself. And I knew that when I was looking in the mirror, I was not going to feel good about myself. In fact, there was a point where I would be on photo shoots and people would want to take behind the scenes and such. And it would be so detrimental for me to see pictures or videos of myself that I almost would recluse and not want to leave the house.
Wow.
Like, it was so devastating me to see myself.
What was the message? What was the message that you sent to yourself when you saw those?
Like, so unlovable. Like, and I know that the way you look should not determine any of that. And I understand that. But it's hard when we live in a society that is very, very focused on aesthetics.
Absolutely.
So that happened where I was starting to have a hard time going to shoots because I was afraid of being seen, of being photographed, of things like that. And it started to weigh on me mentally and emotionally. And then also I mentioned about, we'll be able to cut stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
I mentioned about the relationship.
Yeah.
As I said, I felt that my appearance made me unlovable. So when this person who was unhealthy, it was an unhealthy dynamic between the two of us, I was going to take it because I thought, like, this is my only chance at being loved because of the way that I look. And that's like a horrible thing to say, but it's how I felt.
But it's so true, not just for you, but for so many people, I think, can relate the idea that we sometimes shrink to be in rooms with certain people, right? And we minimize who we are to fit into whatever that relationship or that person is. This is a prime example of you doing that until you didn't, until you said, no more. I need something different. Coupled with dad, coupled with career, unhealthy, toxic relationship. You said, I'm doing something.
And then I got sick too. I had never had any sign of diabetes, but I ended up being really, really sick one day. I told my mom I thought I was dying, which is very dramatic to say, but I was. I was in DKA, which is diabetic ketoacidosis, and I was in the ICU for 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And at that point, all of those things combined, I was like, I have to do something.
Emotionally, but your body was clearly sending you messages, Hannah, something has to change here. Yeah. So you said, okay, with all of these things combined, I'm going to do this move, and I'm going to take myself to Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I still think that's a little wild that I did that, but
Listen. I mean, there's no judgments here. People will seek whatever they have to, whether it's traditional medicine, whether it's doing something on your own, whether it's seeking out surgery, traveling to other countries. We see it all the time now,
Mhm.
right? It's almost normalized with people going to different places to. Okay, so you did the journey. You had what specifically done?
A gastric sleeve, which means that they go in and they took out about 75% of my stomach.
Wow.
So I think it fluctuates afterwards, but after surgery, you can hold about 3 to 4 ounces at full capacity. So that's liquid and food combined. So it forces you into an extreme calorie deficit that some people, when they have the sleeve surgery, they do re-stretch their stomach, but
how'd you handle this?
I mean, it was, at that point, I didn't have a choice except to move through it at that point.
Yeah.
Because it was done. And
this is my journey. I'm moving forward. I got to embrace it and do what I got to do. I want to jump back to, I heard some of the pretty impactful moments with Dad, with X, with health. But I'm curious, Hannah, on a day-to-day basis, what were some of the things that, well, A, what was it like in general, but specifically, what were some of the thoughts? I heard a few of the thoughts that stood out related to these 3 situations, but what were the more common day-to-day thoughts that you dealt with?
Frustration with not being able to find the simple things, not being able to find clothes to wear that I felt good in, right? Not being able to have a style necessarily as easily. Not to say you can't, you absolutely can, but it just was never translating to how I wanted it to look in my head.
Yeah.
And just feeling out of control. Here's the thing, for me with food, it was a coping mechanism for life feeling so hard and bad. Food is so accessible. It's so easy. Drugs, hard to find, scary, Some people binge watch shows. Like, we all have our
Everybody
way of
has their
cope.
thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But for me, there's a gas station on every corner. It was very easy to get that dopamine or to get that hit of I feel better immediately. And the rest of my life did not feel good. So I turned to that over and over and over again. So it was a constant battle of, do I want to feel better right now? Because it's the only way I know how to feel better.
Yes.
I would do the same thing with my hair. I would change my hair constantly, hoping for a quick fix of like, I look different. I feel different.
And it was. For
a moment.
We get those for a moment, a quick fix.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture, and I think that's what we talk about in coaching and in therapy. Real true self-care, real true self-healing is what you're a testament to. The reality is how you can take a step back and say, yeah, I got that quick little, gas station quick fix or the hair change or color. But the big picture, what's happening? Where are my thoughts? Where are my emotions? Getting myself in check, feeling better about myself, growth. And you're using the most important word, control. That is huge. And I even saw your video on control. Talk to me about control for you.
I think many people have this perception that if we control the way we look, or if we control whatever circumstances we can, that it's going to give us a perfect result. But perfection is just not attainable in any realm. And the sooner that I came to terms with that, that plays into a lot of things further, but the control is a false sense of security. So I've been trying really hard to realize that I am not perfect and I am not going to be perfect. It's okay to be imperfect, and I'm going to use the imperfect things for the better.
Whether I show up at work, to give examples, right? Whether it's the way I dress, whether I got a breakout on my face, right? What can I control? What can I control? What can't I control? But even the things that I can control, it's okay to know I can't be perfect. Whether it's that type A personality or it comes from some place of trauma or not good enough. But being able to take a step back, that's the powerful piece.
Yeah.
That false sense of security. And you live that.
And I still go back and forth
Well,
with
we
it.
all do. We all do. Right? We all do.
But it's a conscious effort
Yeah.
to change the way that I feel about that.
Well, and we have to keep it real. We're kind of up against society in some ways. And I only say that because go back to the idea of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
right? What we see on a day-to-day basis, beauty, wealth, health, and what things need to look like.
And being in the industry I'm in, I've had more of a lens of how inaccurate that is anyway, you know? And so I don't want to, that's part of why I did the loose skin video. I don't want to portray myself in a way that's not real.
Okay, well, that was one of the, I wanted to get to that. And that
Yeah.
was one of the things I wanted to talk about with loose skin.
Yeah.
You did a video, which, I mean, anybody listening to this, please pull up Hannah. Are you on TikTok now too? We'll have to drop on it. She's on Instagram. And I saw this video where you are showing your body and extremely vulnerable with what it means to have loose skin. And you're sharing your story, and not only was it powerful, but it hit in so many different ways. Whether you have loose skin, whether you've lost weight or not, it really gave some insight as to who you are and what you're dealing with, the before and the after. And it's not always easy, right? And the journey and I appreciated that, and it just really, really stood out.
Thank
So
you.
I want to talk about that real quick, this concept of loose skin.
Yeah.
What is that like for you?
First, my evolution with the loose skin is a very new one.
Okay.
Because over the last 3 years, I mean, my total weight loss at this point is around 180 pounds.
My gosh, congratulations.
Thank you. But with a massive weight loss like that, it's inevitable that you are going to have loose skin. In fact, I didn't, kind of like how I was trying to keep my awareness from myself about being overweight, where I didn't want to see myself in pictures. The same thing kind of happened as my body deflated and the skin did not go with it. I started to kind of dissociate from looking at it, okay? So it wasn't until maybe 2 months ago when I was having plastic surgery consultations that I realized one of the plastic surgeons literally lifted like all the skin up off my body to show me how dramatic it was, that it would just lift. You know, that there was so much, pounds and pounds. I didn't even realize how much there was because I wasn't allowing myself to see.
So go back, because I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, I can't even imagine. And again, we're talking emotional, psychological, but go back to what was it like when the weight started coming off? Before we hit this point of now I'm in surgery consults.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about loose skin. What was it like going through this? Weight is starting to show 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. 180, that is incredible.
Thank you.
That's a lot of weight.
Thank you. I think at first, I remember one of my most excited moments was the first time that I saw a picture of myself that I didn't hate. And I would say I was maybe 60 pounds down at that point. And I was at my sister-in-law's baby shower and I saw the picture and I was like, whoa, I don't hate myself. And it was the best feeling. Like I'll never forget. Like
so
it makes me emotional.
Filled, yes,
yeah.
so emotion filled to be able to see yourself in that light.
Yeah. I had a dress that I liked and it fit me the way I wanted and I saw myself in a different light and I'll never forget that. After that, I started to notice not only how I felt about myself changed, but the way others treated me and the way that I started to change my expectation of how others should treat me.
Oh, I want to know about that.
Yeah.
Because when people lose weight, they talk about how they're treated differently by others. So how did you notice that?
I would say it manifested mostly in my dating life. I would say I felt mostly treated differently by like prospective partners. Prospective partners. I was treated very differently. Not only on like the dates I was being asked on or like the caliber of that was a weird voice. Not only on the caliber of the types of dates, but just the way I was treated. I don't agree with that sentiment. I don't think we should treat people differently.
Well, but it is what it is. I mean, you're experiencing, both sides. So you're getting this certain treatment now. You're noticing the weight loss. What did it do to you? What did it say to you, good or bad?
I think that's a hard one. Because it was important from not even an aesthetic standpoint, it was important to shed the weight, because the weight was a physical representation of pain and hard things that was sitting on me. I don't know if I don't. So I think to shed it is cathartic, right? To watch it go.
Yeah, but symbolic.
Yeah. And I think, one thing that has been really hard, I don't think I've ever expressed, is, like I say in my Elephant in the Room poem, I was big for most of my life. And I think one thing that's been hard and continues to be hard and makes me emotional is that my dad, and I really had the best relationship with him, very close to him. He never got to see this version of me. And I think I am sad about that.
Of course.
Yeah.
What would Dad say right now?
Well, my dad loved me without prerequisites, always.
Of course.
Unconditional love at its best. And I know he's proud of me, and I know he's a part of helping me share. He's looking out for me. I think he would be proud of me. But I wish that he would have gotten to experience this version of me.
This version of you that has put in time and effort and motivation and control for what it's worth and hard work and, dedicating yourself to saying, I'm healing me. I'm doing me bigger than the weight loss, right?
Yeah.
The emotional piece, again, the psychological piece, the work that you've done, for him to see you, even as much as he's loved you unconditionally in the past and what you looked like, but to see who you are right now, what would he say?
I think he would just tell me he loves me so much. And that is a very simple thing to say, but it's a powerful thing.
Absolutely. Because you could feel it. You knew what that would be like from him.
Yeah, and he knew always.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen my series on Justify and my relationship to him on that, but from the start, he told me I was meant to do good things. And I think that this is one of those things that contributes to me being able to help other people. And that's important to me. And it would be important to him too. My dad was really good at making sure people felt like they mattered.
And that's what this is about, right? As you continue on this journey. So to have Dad's voice there.
Yeah.
To have Dad, to feel his presence, to see him.
Yeah. Keeping
that with you as you go forward, right? Yeah. That's so important.
And I think it is part of his legacy too.
This isn't you losing 100+ pounds isn't the finish line. There's so much more. It's like this journey's just beginning, right? Whether it's, the next phase of loose skin, but more importantly, where you're going with career and self and touching lives. There's so much more here for you.
Thank you.
I want to know people treating you differently. Now, let's even think about bigger picture than just dating.
Okay.
Right? Although you're in a relationship right now, right? Yeah, you're in a committed. How long has it been?
Like about 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, thinking bigger than your relationship and with your current boyfriend, how do you notice people showing up in your world right now? And more importantly, how does it make you feel?
Yeah. I see myself being taken more seriously in a professional environment. And that makes me feel empowered.
Validated.
And I think I'm having a hard time of how to phrase it. I think that,
you know what I get from you? You are being seen in a different light. how people are seeing you looks different.
Yeah. And I wonder sometimes if this was an important part of my life to happen, because I think weight loss in general is a coveted, sought after result, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what gets people to pay attention to the rest of the things I have to say,
Yeah.
then I think that it was perfectly orchestrated. You know?
There's a few, I'm sure that's controversial in itself, and I hate that people would think and feel that way, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear exactly what you're saying. I want to know what feels better about your life now, beyond just the weight loss.
Yeah. My self-esteem, I mentioned earlier, I said I had a lot of borrowed self-esteem from my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My commitment to myself over and over and over, regardless of the fact that my stomach is restricted, I still choose to not eat a lot of sugar. Hardly ever. I pretty much don't eat it. Sugar-free everything. I don't have treats very often. I watch what I put into my body.
Yeah.
I consistently work out. I've chosen myself over and over and over. And every time I've done that, it's built my self-confidence. And that self-confidence has given me a strong sense of self and a self-esteem that honestly,
Wow.
I feel gives me so much power. There's very few things at this point that I feel could take me from that power and that self-assurance that I know who I am.
I'm getting chills as you're saying that. You know, a part of the world, as I'm sure you're seeing and hearing on social media, this whole world of weight loss and GLPs and what that looks like for people. And the biggest thing that we're seeing and hearing, I'm losing the weight. I'm on medications, right? Whatever it is. But I haven't made a lifestyle change. And to hear you say that confidence, that self-esteem, your worth is because you're putting the time and energy. This is bigger than the surgery now.
Yeah.
This is you saying, I'm showing up, I'm healing, and my self-care is going to the gym, is watching the sugar, right? Because it's easy to take medications or a pill or a shot and say, okay, yeah, I'm losing the weight. But guess what? It's not changing your day-to-day living and your habits. And you know, that's where all these controversies are coming in. You're doing it. You're doing the work.
Thank you.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of my evolution of self-love. Outside of the physical realm, I've done a lot of therapy. I've been really honest with myself about where I needed to make changes, which is really hard. Like, it's so hard to really look at yourself, peel back the layers, see where you need to make corrections.
Absolutely.
It's painful.
Absolutely.
But it's so worth the honesty, because when you're real with yourself and you make the changes, you can't help but love yourself, because it was hard.
Absolutely.
And you did it. So
you are the I was just going to say, you're the poster child of self-help and growth.
Thank you.
And change and awareness. You are that person.
Thank you.
You are that woman.
Thank you.
Seriously, I can see why you're proud.
Thank you.
Not everyone can do that and put that work into themselves.
I hope that people will try. I hope that people will try, because I think the most dangerous thing is a lack of self-esteem.
And that's what I want to end with. If someone's listening to this right now and they're in the middle of their own body shift journey, transformation, whether it's weight loss or just making something different to themselves, physically, emotionally, what would you want them to hear?
It is so worth it to love yourself. It is so worth it. Whatever change you need to make, find a way to do it. Because every time you make a positive change to love yourself, it will build that self-esteem and confidence, and that will give you power. And once you have that power, you'll be so rooted in yourself that you will be so rooted in yourself that no one will be able to take your power from you. And that is the best feeling, because then you can be true to who you are and your purpose.
That was just a deep response. I love, and it sounds so silly, but RuPaul will end his show with, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? And you
Amen.
you just took it further. You just gave us the roots on that tree of loving yourself and what that means. Love yourself. That's so important, Hannah. I can't thank you enough for sharing. To be quite honest, we could go on for another hour. I want to do other segments because your story is so rich and your journey has been so amazing. And that's up to thus far. We still have so much more to see.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm hoping that it's insightful and helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This is Living Life with James. Thanks for being here with us, and thanks for listening.
Want to be a guest on Living Life with James? If you got a story or a message that you feel can inspire or help others, message me through my website or DM me on Instagram. I'd love to connect.